If you want to be good at the snare drum, then you need to know these 10 exercises first. Alright, if you're having trouble improving, you may want to put a pause on that DCI snare break that you've been learning and check back into the fundamentals. In this video, I'm going to show you the 10 most essential exercises that every snare drummer in the world needs to know. These exercises are the foundation to all the best snare drummers in the world. Let's get into it. Alright, exercise number 1 is called full down tap up. This exercise takes you through your 4 main stroke types. You have the full stroke, you have the downstroke, the tap, and the upstroke. So this exercise is very simple. I have my metronome set at 90 beats a minute. It goes like this. So as you see, this exercise just works on those 4 main stroke types. It's really important to have this as your foundation so that you can apply this to the 9 other exercises that we're going to be playing throughout this video and everything else that you play in your future. All right, exercise number 2, we got legatos. I'm sure most of you guys know this one. It's just 8 on a hand. This exercise is really important to focus on rhythm consistency, stroke type consistency, and it also just warms up each muscle group simultaneously. As you play this, you want to make sure that you're using an equal amount of finger, wrist, and arm, so that you can warm up all the muscle groups together. So I have my metronome set at 110, and the exercise goes like this. Very nice. And with this exercise, there's many different variations you can play. We'll get into some of those variations later in this video, but I would recommend playing that one all up at forte like we just did, all at the tap height, like this, and everywhere in between, just to work on your dynamic range. All right, exercise number 3, we got accent tap. We're gonna specifically work on bucks, which is this. Just accent tap over and over again, repeated. There's, again, many different variations. You can do as many taps or as many accents as you want. But right now we're just gonna work on bucks. This exercise is really important because you have so many opposing stroke types happening so quickly. So you have to really focus on making everything feel the same, even though everything's changing so constantly. So this exercise is laid out just like legatos, just 8 on a hand, over and over again. I have my metronome set at 110 again, and it goes like this. Awesome, so as you see, very similar to legatos, except now we're throwing in different dynamics. So you can take what you learned from exercise number 1, full down tap up, and apply it here because now we have downstrokes and upstrokes. All right, exercise number 4, we got down up. This is another legatos variation. It's slightly different. You'll play 16 on a hand rather than just 8. This exercise works on your dynamic range all the way from forte, all the way down to piano, and everywhere in between, working on the way down and the way back up. So I have my metronome still set at 110, and it goes something like this. Sweet. So again, very similar to legatos. This is just working on more dynamic range, making sure that each note that you play is different than the previous. So in this exercise, it's really important that you're not manually getting to each height like this. Rather, you want to think about letting the stick kind of just taper down all the way to the tap height, and then all the way back up. I'm not really changing anything physically. I'm just kind of letting the stick do most of the work on the way down and on the way back up. I'm not changing the stroke type or anything. You want to make sure that everything pretty much stays the same other than just the height. All right, exercise number 5, we got tap pyramid. Now this exercise strays a little bit away from the legatos format that we've been playing. However, there are some similarities for sure. So judging by the name, this exercise works on your taps, which you will run into a lot of in every piece of music that you ever learn. There's always going to be more taps than accents, I guarantee that. So I have my metronome set to 90 beats a minute, and this exercise is pretty straightforward. It's 16th note based. You start with a bar of singles, and then a bar of doubles, and then a bar of 4s, and then 8, 16, 32, 64. So each pattern change just doubles the amount of notes you play per hand. So this exercise goes like this. Awesome. So this exercise is a little bit harder than it looks. The priority of this exercise is to just make the entire thing sound seamless, right? You want each note to just sound like the note before it. So that means rhythms have to be perfect, but also your sound has to be perfect. So you can't really change anything about how you're playing within this exercise. Everything just has to be consistent the entire time. And consistency is one of the hardest things to build up. All right, I'm sure you're wondering, Davis, where do I get that awesome hoodie that you're wearing that's custom embroidered? Well, I'm glad you asked. You get it from downbeatproject.org. I also have the t-shirt variety of this and some stickers. So Downbeat Project is full of drumline merch. They have everything from hats to t-shirts to hoodies to stickers, whatever you want, you name it. Here's another cool shirt that I have of theirs. Living life in double time, always. They have the coolest merch that exists on the market for anything drumline related. So definitely go check them out. Get some of their merch, get some of my merch, support them, support me. We greatly appreciate it. All right, back to it. Next exercise we got is double triple. So this exercise works on your multi-strokes, which is in turn gonna help you with things like rolls or threes, stuff like that. So obviously by the name, you're playing double strokes and you're playing triple strokes. So this exercise is 16th note based. I have my metronome set at 100. So the goal of this exercise is to kind of focus on making each note sound the same rather than too much decay. So as you play like this, you want to make sure that those notes sound like that and not like this. And same thing for the triple strokes. Rather than, right? So you're going to have to work on quick rebounds, making sure that you're not getting in your own way of the sticks rebound. Cool? So 100 beats a minute. Sounds like this. Very good. So I would recommend playing that one a lot, not only at forte, but also at every high in between, just like we talked about for legatos. So obviously this part of the exercise, that's gonna work on your doubles. And this part of the exercise is working on your triples. So yeah, just building strength for multi-strokes. That's a really important one because you're gonna play a lot of multi-strokes in your life. Exercise number 7, We got stick control. This is a classic. You gotta know stick control. If you don't know stick control, what are you doing? So this exercise works on rhythm consistency, stroke type changes, making everything consistent throughout those stroke type changes. You have everything from singles to triples to doubles to fours and so on. So it's really important here that as you switch from to something like fours, that again, like double beat and triple beat, that it doesn't sound like this, right? You want it to sound like this. So again, just making sure that you're not getting in your own way or anything. Working on rebound efficiency. So I have my metronome set at 100 still, and it goes something like this. Again here, this exercise is harder than it looks. Not only maintaining rhythms, but also your sound with all these different stroke types and different stickings that are going on is much more challenging than you'd think, which is what makes this exercise so essential. All right, exercise number 8. We got quick accent. This works on quick upstrokes, which you're going to need to have for a lot of things that you play. As you play this exercise, you want to make sure that you're maintaining tap consistency and not growing into the accent. A lot of people like to go to give them a little bit of a head start to that accent. Can't do that here. You want to make sure that it's this, right? So this exercise, I'm going to keep it at 100, and it goes something like this. All right, exercise number 9, we got short, short, long. Now there's so many different variations to this exercise. We're just gonna focus on the simple ones. For now, we're just gonna do normal, short, short, long. We're gonna start with just 1 rep of buzz, short, short, long, and 1 rep of diddled, short, short, long. I have my metronome at 140. This is triplet based. It goes like this. Sick. Now we know how to play rolls. So like I said, there's a million different variations of this exercise. You can do tap roll. You can do tap 5s. You can just do 5 strokes. You can do single hand diddles. Or there's endless possibilities, and each of them are important in their own ways. For the sake of the video, I just kept it down to those 2, which are the main 2 that you'll probably ever play. Some things to think about as you play this are maintaining motion and engagement throughout the check and the embellishment. So let's say you're playing the diddles. You don't want to change anything about how you're playing the drum from a motion standpoint, and also from a fulcrum engagement standpoint, going in and out of the roll. So a lot of people like to do something like this. They just add too much effort going into the roll because they think, oh, a roll is harder to play than the check, so I need to do more work. But really, you need to worry about efficiency and making sure that the roll feels like the check does. Trying to keep the motion and the engagement that I have in my grip the same throughout. That just eliminates variables so that you can focus on more important things like the rhythms or the sound, stuff like that. So that's priority number 1 for me as I play this exercise. All right, the last exercise on this list. Exercise number 10. It's pretty loose. It's just grids, 4-2-1 grids. There's so many different grids. Honestly, infinite grids that you can play. We're gonna focus on the 2 main ones that you'll ever play, there's triplet grid, and there's 16th note grid. So what this is doing is helping you understand each partial separately of a given rhythm. So for triplets, there's 3 notes per count, right? Which means there's 3 partials. So you can accent each of those partials separately like this. So this is really helping you just get more comfortable with the rhythm. So if you ever have an isolated partial with nothing surrounding it, you understand where that lies with the metronome, such as something like this. Right? Just getting more comfortable and familiarized with that rhythm. So there's triplets, and then there's 16th notes as well. And you can do this with any rhythm, and you can also start to throw any rudiment on top of it. So for now, we're just going to worry about normal alternating triplets and 16th notes. So I have my metronome at 120. The triplet version goes like this. And the 16th note version goes like this. Awesome. Now you're familiar with each partial of triplets and 16th notes, which are 2 of some of the most common rhythms. Like I said, you can do this with any rhythm, any rudiment as well. So if you really want to get crazy, you can do something like this. And so on. Constant flam drags, stuff like that. It gets crazier and crazier. So learn your grids. They're very important for timing. They help me greatly with rhythms and just being acquainted with each partial of any given rhythm that you can play. All right, y'all, hopefully this video was helpful and also fun. This list that I made is not necessarily in any order from 1 to 10. I kind of tried my best to put them in an order that is of most importance to me, but there's a lot of them that I could switch around and be happy with. But each one that we worked on is essential for your growth as a snare drummer. So definitely learn all these before you start worrying about learning some DCI snare breaks or anything. Definitely have fun, you know, challenge yourself, learn those breaks and stuff. But if you can't play all of these perfectly, there's work to be done. Something that I was taught that really stuck with me was even the best snare drummers in the world still practice these and still utilize everything from these. So one analogy that I was taught that I really like is Kobe Bryant would show up to basketball rehearsal practicing free throws and layups and stuff. And people would be like, Kobe, you're the best player in the world. Why are you practicing these fundamentals? And he would just be like, even the best players in the world got to be really strong with their foundation, right? So that can really be applied here as well. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate all the support, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Click the top link to see me test the weirdest Amazon drum products.